In the news tonight, second phase measles immunization begins tomorrow. Universities told to address workforce needs. And world leaders gather in Spain for COP25.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spade.
Now that the new stock of vaccine has arrived in the country, the second phase of the measles immunization campaign will begin in the Central Division tomorrow. The focus remains in the Serua Namosi, Suva and Rewa areas of the Central Division, as most of the cases have been reported there. The number of measles cases has increased to 15, with the latest case found in Nasilai village in Akelo, Rewa. The subdivisional outbreak response team has quarantined Nasilai villagers who may have been exposed to the airborne illness. Kritika Kumar reports.
The Health Ministry is reminding everyone to avoid unnecessary travel to any high-risk areas.
I don't want to put people at risk. So if somebody has measles and there's a mass gathering, a couple of hundred people that come from all over Fiji, they'll take the measles back to wherever they come from. We only have to remember what happened in our past, in 1875.
Acting Prime Minister Yasset Keyum urged parents to act responsibly when it comes to vaccination.
It's also attitude of parents too. People need to take a lot of responsibility to get their children vaccinated at a very early age.
While speaking on ABC's Current Affairs show Q&A at USP last night, Syed Keyum highlighted that Fiji has an interesting history with measles.
Back in about 1875, one of the chiefs went off to Sydney, and he came back and went to a chiefly meeting, where 69 chiefs were infected, and we lost approximately, the figures are from 25,000 to 40,000 Fijians actually lost their lives at that point in time, around about 1875 or so.
There are 15 confirmed measles cases nationally, 11 in Serua Namosi subdivision and 4 from Suva and Rewa. In light of this outbreak, the graduation ceremony for USP Specific Technical and Further Education students has been cancelled. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will again try to get the world's attention on the drastic impacts of climate change. With over 20,000 delegates attending the opening ceremony last night, Fiji and other Pacific Island countries will rely on the input of first world countries in Madrid, Spain. Ali Kimbia with the story.
The UN Climate Change Conference of Parties 25 in Madrid is specifically aimed at developing the next step in the climate change process.
Climate change has now become an existential threat for every country, especially for the climate vulnerable countries like Bangladesh and also small islands.
The Bangladeshi Prime Minister says climate change is now a global threat.
However, our children will not forgive us if we fail to ensure their future. Every moment, the cost of our inaction is devastating every living person on earth.
With a lot of eyes fixed on first world countries, the US says they are still in the fight.
On behalf of the House of Representatives and the Congress of the United States, we're still in it. We're still in it.
Nancy Pelosi says the world must act now to save our future generations.
We all do believe we have a moral responsibility to future generations to pass on this planet in a better way.
Fijian Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama will also join other world leaders to make his voice heard on the effects of climate change. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Tertiary institutions must consider workforce needs before taking on students. Education Minister Rosie Akbar made the call while launching a strategic plan for the Tertiary Scholarship and Loans Board and its new logo. Edwin Nunn reports.
The Education Ministry is worried university programs may not be addressing the needs of the market when enrolling students.
We are moving towards quantity. If you look at the number of graduates that are coming out and you look at the needs of the Fijian workforce, I think it doesn't match. So we at the Ministry of Education are going to do our workforce planning exercise for our ministry to see, okay, in the next 5 years we need science teachers. At the moment I've been told we are shortage of 25 plus science teachers, maths teachers, industrial arts teachers.
Minister Rosie Akbar says tertiary institutions can't work in isolation and need to find an answer to the disproportionate number of graduates joining the labour market.
We need to look at what we produce. Are we producing for Fiji? Are we producing for the Pacific? Or are we producing graduates for the global market? I think we need to look at that as well. Because we may not be able to absorb every graduate that comes out.
The new strategic plan has set the platform for the Tertiary Scholarship and Loans Board to achieve targets over the next 4 years, key being customer service improvement and ensuring that more Fijians are able to access services at the TSLB.
I think it just took a couple of months, 2 months, for them to set up and start rolling out the new schemes that were announced in the 2013 budget by the Honorable Prime Minister. Right? So from 2014 till now, what we have been doing was trying to find the best fit as far as our process and procedures are concerned.
The TSLB has helped more than 38,000 Fijians with scholarships and loans in 2019. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
The trial of 38-year-old Chosevata Werelangi continued in the Suva High Court today. Werelangi faces 1 count of aggravated sexual servitude and 3 counts of domestic trafficking of children. He took the stand for the first time today. Apanisa Wangairandovu reports.
Chosevata Werelangi told the Suva High Court this afternoon that he never forced the complainant in his case into prostitution, didn't transport her to Suva, and received no money from her. He also denied telling her to dress in clothes that attract men. It is alleged that in July 2015, Werelangi threatened or forced a 15-year-old girl into sexual servitude. In cross-examination, the accused informed the court some of the answers to questions in the police report were not his answers. When asked if he is lying to the High Court, the 38-year-old says he was not lying about anything and again insisted that he did not give all answers in the police report. The trial continues tomorrow. Apanisa Wangairandovu, FBC News.
Up ahead, art exhibition to showcase inmates' talents. And participants gear up for Ndrichia Milem competition. Details after the break. Former Registrar of Titles Office Ravi Kashwar Chand and law clerk Hemant Kumar appeared in the Magistrates Court today. Both face corruption-related charges brought by FICAC. Pranita Prakash reports.
Chand is charged with 1 count of falsification of documents for allegedly falsifying the transfer of title lease number. Kumar is charged with 1 count each of giving information derived from a false document, obtaining a financial advantage, and 1 count of fraudulent falsification of accounts. He is alleged to have given false information from a false document to an individual regarding a title and obtained $2,750, and that he further falsified receipts of his former law firm. The resident magistrate released the two on $2,000 bail with 2 sureties in the same sum. Along with the usual conditions, both were ordered to report to the FICAC office on the last Friday of every month. The matter has been adjourned to February 3rd next year. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Fiji will be the 2nd country in the world after Israel to stage a fashion show for designers who are prison inmates. Fiji Corrections Service Deputy Commissioner Senior Superintendent Apimileki Tauke says it's part of their Christmas Vakaviti art exhibition. Sainiani Mboila reports.
The female inmates will get a chance to show their garment to Fijians during the art exhibition.
Most of them have gone through our rehabilitation programs and we've done our own assessments on them. And due to their skills and their talents, we have identified that and we have allocated them to be a part of this Tanimodia Art Gallery. And they are the ones who will be showing their artwork during the day.
Volunteer Jane Ricketts says the exhibition will feature paintings and drawings portraying the festive season.
It's called Christmas Vakaviti, and some of the paintings reflect that, like the one behind me, which, as you can see, is an interpretation of the wise men, following the star. And it's one of the paintings that's been done especially for the exhibition, and I really like it. It's a sort of joyful and slightly humorous interpretation.
The Christmas Vakaviti exhibition will be held at the Tangimodia Gallery opposite the Suva Corrections Center from the 9th to the 13th of this month. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Fijian Broadcasting Corporation's Bull FM Drechia Melem competition will begin this Thursday at the Roops Complex in Nakasi. 20 finalists will be competing to win the new 2019 Hyundai Tucson worth over $69,000. Lena Reese with the details.
The Drechia Melem competition has been dubbed as one of the biggest events for Bula FM this year. These participants need to follow certain guidelines to win this brand new vehicle.
The participants will be required to stand for 4 hours on a 60 by 60 centimeter square carpet, keeping 1 foot flat at all times. They can lift one leg, move their hands and twist their body within their boundary, which will be surrounded by water cups filled with water, which they should not spill.
The last participant standing will drive away with the Hyundai Tucson, but if there is still more than one person standing after 3 p.m. on Saturday, then a new rule applies.
Those remaining will have to pull the car individually to a distance of 45 meters. The pull will be timed, and whoever completes it in the fastest will be declared the winner.
The finalists are between the age of 19 and 40 years, and some say they are prepared for the competition.
Staying in the village, we go to the farm every morning, every hour, so that's like, it helps with the training.
I have a big compound back at home. That is where I used to train, and physically and spiritually too.
Like once a week, I just train only for 2 days, and the rest of the days I go home and do my job.
It's training, really tough training.
Bula FM Drechia Melem competition will be streamed live on Bula FM's Facebook page. Lena Reese, FBC News.
Fiji's maritime surveillance received a timely boost with renovation earmarked for the RFNS Stanley Brown Wharf. Under the Fiji-Australia bilateral agreement, a number of initiatives will be rolled out, including the handover of 2 Guardian patrol boats to Fiji Navy. Defence Minister Nisero Ratu says a good and well-structured infrastructure is the backbone of any economy.
As a matter of fact, having one of the best docking infrastructure in place enables trade, creates opportunities for a nation such as Fiji, securitize the nation from maritime threats. The upgrading of this wharf is not only critical towards building our capabilities in securing our borders, but also support the Pacific Maritime Security Program under the Gugwala Partnership.
And Kelly joins us now with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break. Pearl harvesters expect profits. And in growing Fiji, women's group invest in multi-million-dollar project. Stay with us. Leading business, the women from Ravi Ravi village in Madhuwata are anticipating good returns from their Mabel half-pearls harvest. This is the third and the largest harvest since the group began half-pearl farming in 2014, an initiative by the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research and Ministry of Fisheries. Eleanor Tarangavi reports.
750 giant winged pearl oysters, known as mabe, were harvested by the Navatundo women's group in Ravi Ravi last week.
This is our third harvest. In our first one, we harvested 67 oysters and we achieved $3,800 in sales. The second one, we harvested 23 pieces and we got $735. We're looking forward to the sales from this harvest.
$735. With the help of the men and children in the village, the oysters are brought to land, separated from the lines, and prepared for harvest. The harvesting is done with precision so that the pearl is not scratched, as it will lose its value. Each oyster contains 2 or 3 half-round pearls.
From this harvest, we will be getting well over $10,000 in sales.
After the harvesting process, the half-pearls are then graded according to their luster, color, size and lack of surface flaw.
We're going to categorize them from the highest to the lowest quality. The highest will be A and the lowest will be D. And the highest price as it is, unprocessed, they normally fetch about $30 per mabe, while the lowest is about $5.
The process of making jewelry out of these pearls is now underway, and the women have a showroom in the village where the jewelry are displayed and sold. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Gary from HFC Bank now joins us with the latest from the stock market.
The US dollar traded near a one-week low versus the Japanese yen today on concern about weak US manufacturing data and signs of a new front in the trade war with China. US manufacturing activity continued to lag in November amid decline in inventory and new orders. Also, US employment was down for the month, while export orders fell as the US and China continue to look for a resolution to their ongoing trade dispute. Meanwhile, the Aussie dollar is like all other assets dominated by US-China trade deal headlines. But this week, a domestic issue likely to loom larger crept in, one that traders will have to keep a very close eye on. Monetary policy and what the Reserve Bank of Australia will do about interest rates are crucial to the future of the Aussie dollar. And that's all from HFC Bank for now. Vinaka.
Thanks, Gary. Here are today's exchange rates as set this morning. As the markets recovered following the long U.S. holiday weekend, the Fiji dollar was on the rise against the Chinese yuan, the American greenback, and also made gains against the euro. However, the Sangamoli slipped against regional currencies and pretty much held steady against the Japanese yen. Looking at commodities, the price of oil rose slightly to $56 per barrel. Gold was up at $1,463 per ounce, and silver closed down at $16.92 per ounce. In growing Fiji, women's group the Songsongo Wakamarama Itoke will soon embark on a multi-million-dollar project. The group, made out of Itoke women from around the country, are working on building a cultural village in Nambua Suva. Sainini Boiler reports the proposed buildings are part of the income generation project.
The $20 million project will see the construction of 3 buildings, and once complete, it will meet the needs of the Songosongo Wakamarama Itoke members.
What got us wanting to begin developing that land is our involvement with government's Red Plus program, because we realized if we were to move into the area of climate change and conservation and so on, we would need more spaces for us to work. You know, we're quite limited at the
Architecture Tale Rokotuimbao says the proposed project consists of 5, a 3 and a 2-story building. It will also have a theatre and a commercial complex.
It is a cultural center, but it's also like a center for learning. Okay? It's a center for conservation. And it's also a center that will generate income for the women. It's an integrated project. It's for integration of users.
The multi-million-dollar project of the Songosongo Wakamarama Itoke is earmarked to begin early next year. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
That's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Kelly, and good evening. Coming up, sporting organizations urge to postpone events. And AFL Oceania Cup kicks off in Suva. This and more after the break. A lot of sports competitions are held during the festive season, but the Ministry of Sports, Fiji Sports Commission and FASANOC are now advising sporting federations to do otherwise. In light of the measles outbreak and the Ministry of Health's advisory on mass gatherings, sporting organizations are now being urged to postpone their event schedule for this month until further notice. Tale Matairakula has more.
Necessary steps are being taken to control the recent measles outbreak.
We ask all national sports organisations to consider postponing any get-togethers, at least for December, possibly early January.
FASANOC Chief Executive Officer Lorraine Ma says all federations should adhere to the Ministry of Health's advice and avoid mass gatherings.
Sports has lots of gatherings, the competitions you all mentioned. So it's just any gatherings, we're asking our national federations to consider helping to reduce the risk by postponing the events.
Ministry of Youth and Sports Permanent Secretary Maritino Neamani believes preventative measures are crucial.
Is the change of behaviors and the approach that we take. Because when it comes to sports, our emotions and our feeling and everything else goes with it. But we tend to forget that, look, there's other things that we need to consider. It is a life. And once you lose a life, what happens? You can't get it back. We can always postpone, we can always get this tournament back, we can always make another time. And that's all we're asking, is to exercise wisdom, caution.
While the outbreak is predominantly in the Seru-Anamosi subdivision and in Suva and Rewa subdivisions, it can easily spread to other areas if precaution is not taken, as measles is an airborne disease. The Ministry of Sports, Fiji Sports Commission and FESANOC believe that collaborative actions can help control the spread of measles. Kalema Terkula, FBC Sports.
Former Fijiana 15's captain Leilani Burns was overjoyed last Saturday when she and the Fijiana qualified for the 2021 Women's Rugby World Cup in New Zealand. Burns was part of the team that missed qualification in 2016 for the last World Cup. She says the team used the lessons learned from that downfall to motivate them this time around.
And after winning the Oceania Championships against PNG, we went across to the rapid charge. And we were very confident to be able to make it through and do history back then in 2016, only to be really sorely disappointed. So we're coming through into this Oceania Championship and the qualifiers, keeping that loss in mind that we weren't able to do it back in 2016. We were not going to repeat history and not allow us to be able to qualify and go through and represent Fiji this year.
Two Fijians helped Northampton Saints defeat Leicester Tigers 36-13 in round 5 of the English Premiership Rugby. Flying Fijians lock Api Ratuniarawa, who scored in the 38th minute, featured for the Saints alongside former Wallabies winger Tangele Naiaravoro. The Hurricanes have a lot to think about ahead of the 2020 Super Rugby season. The possibility coach John Plumtree may join Ian Foster in coaching the All Blacks, and Adi Savier's serious knee injury that's come to light. South Africa will be at the Stampettes mark early on the World Rugby 7 series. The Blitzboks have bolstered their team for the first leg of the series with the return of 3 senior players. The 2019 AFL Oceania Cup got underway at Albert Park in Suva with 4 teams competing. The Tongan under-15 side are the newcomers to the tournament and hope some of their players make it to this year's Oceania team. Save Wanga with the details.
Many of these players are using the annual AFL Fiji Oceania Cup as an opportunity to make a name for themselves in the international arena.
From this tournament, this is a pathway for our under-15 players, which involves under-15 teams from the region to be able to participate in the national Brisbane National Championship, which is held every April in Brisbane.
Tonga's inclusion in the tournament this year aims to bring more firepower and increase the competition level.
Tonga came in this year. We were fortunate to have Tonga this year, and looking at them playing this year, very competitive. They've got some big boys, under 15 big boys, and giving a good game for Nauru and Fiji.
AFL Oceania Development Manager Ben Drew says this tournament is part of their Pacific Talent Pathway program.
We obviously want to give the boys a great experience in coming and competing and playing for their country, but also we're handpicking some talent to take back to Australia in April next year as part of our South Pacific Talent Pathway, and we align that with the Gold Coast Suns AFL club.
The tournament serves as a trial for the players who will get a chance to represent an Oceania under-15 team at the Brisbane National Championship next year. Save Wanga, FBC Sports.
Argentina and Barcelona forward Lionel Messi has won football's prized Ballon d'Or award for a record 6th time. Fijian players are tearing up the Gallagher Premiership Rugby in England, as we saw earlier. Apisalome Ratuniarau and Tangele Naiaravoro featuring for Northampton Saints. But in another match with 14 men, Albert Tuisue and Waisake Naholo helped London Irish draw 27-all with Semi Randra's future club Bristol Bears. The highlight of the match and our play of the day was Naholo's runaway intercept try. That's it from Sports in Weird and Wonderful. Later on, firemen dressed as Marvel superheroes to clean road. Find out more after the break.
MacBook Pro 16-inch isn't just the most powerful MacBook Apple's ever made, it's also the best. Angie joins us now with weather.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. We couldn't have handpicked better weather for a Tuesday. Pretty bright and very beautiful. The conditions for school holidays this year look promising. Checking the west out for today, very clear and humid at the same time. The Christmas heat is here. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, after morning showers, the sun was glowy like anything. And up north, a little cloudy with sunny spells. At sea, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, calm seas. For the tides, low tide at 7:50 tonight with high tide at 4:48 a.m. Sunrise at 6:21. For tomorrow, if you like today's weather, then we've got a whole lot more where that came from. Tomorrow's temps, Suva and Savu will be in their usual 28 to 29 degrees. And looking further on to Thursday, it will be nice and bright too. Just as I said, it's time to feel the Christmas heat. And that's all the weather from the Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji Pulse, we asked, should first world countries pledge more financial help towards climate change mitigation?
No, I don't think more funding is needed.
Yes, because as we know, we need support. So we need fund to help our developing countries.
I think top countries should give more money because they are major cause of climate change.
Yes, they should because they are major contributors to carbon emission.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, an amusing moment as firefighters dressed in superhero costumes to clean the road. The two playful firemen received the order from their boss to clean the highway. One dressed as Spider-Man, the other wore Captain America's suit. Recapping the main stories for tonight, second phase measles immunization begins tomorrow. Universities told to address workforce needs. And world leaders gather in Spain for COP25. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, should Fijians have visa-free access to more countries? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, work on the new Tamavoi Y Bridge in Lami, making speedy progress, sent in by Graham Stageman. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news or hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.